Well, good evening, everyone. Stacy, that's just fantastic, all those things you said about me. But on March 28th, my organization, Union Conservatives, actually celebrated a different kind of freedom, and that was this freedom to work here in Michigan. But this was not a one-person or a two-person thing. This was something that hundreds of activists around Michigan became involved with. And we celebrated that, acknowledged and recognized some of those leaders in Michigan. Stacy was one of them that we gave our Workplace Freedom Award to, as we did Gary Glenn and Americans for Prosperity, and who do such fantastic work in the state of Michigan. I don't know about all of you, but I am AFP, Americans for Prosperity. I hope you are as well. Well, when I think of Juneteenth, I immediately think of three things. I think of emancipation, I think of President Abraham Lincoln, and I think of the Civil War. And I think many of you also do as well. And I'm going to be really brief here tonight. This year, I actually got to do something that I had been wanting to do my entire adult life, never had the chance. I went to the city of Gettysburg. And if people here, have you guys been to Gettysburg before? It is a phenomenal national park and a place that I recommend everybody go to. In fact, this summer they're celebrating their 150th anniversary. It's the bloodiest battle, the biggest battle ever fought on the Western Hemisphere. And when you walk those fields that all them soldiers died, it is a spiritual quest when you walk through those hallowed fields. And it reminds me that this Civil War was fought over an idea of freedom, something that we had never seen before in the history of the world. It wasn't about land, it wasn't about spoils of war, it was about freedom for individuals and the idea that all men are created equal. And it is an amazing thing to go to Gettysburg. I recommend that you do. You know, President Lincoln actually showed up about 5 months after the battle and gave his most famous speech, the Gettysburg Address. And I just want to say a few quick words at the end of that speech, which I think is so important for us even today as we're going through what we're going through in the United States. President Lincoln said, quote, "It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave that last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth," unquote, by Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest speeches ever. And I think we hear the sound of those words today and say it is very applicable with some of the things we're going through in America today. And it is in that vein why we patriots and believers of the Constitution and our God-given rights, we fight so passionately to keep the founders' wishes alive and vibrant in our hearts and souls. It is in that vein why we, activists, and sometimes troublemakers, let's be honest, are willing to stand up to all those who deny us or wish to deny us that new birth of freedom, and instead burden us with their desire for oppression and tyranny. It is in that vein why we, the lovers of whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, whatever is excellent or praiseworthy, are willing to stand up and give that last measure of devotion to ensuring that those who come after us know where they came from and are familiar with their God-given rights that government cannot take away and cannot grant. So tonight, I just ask you to think of those soldiers at Gettysburg, those soldiers who went through horrible conditions to fight for an idea that all men are created equal, that all men deserve freedom. And that is what I wish to leave you with tonight. Thank you, Stacy, so much.